welcome to the Cherry Purls podcast, back after a little hiatus. Significant hiatus. This is episode 104, I think.
Yep, 104.
104. And we are super excited to be podcasting again. We've had a lot of people ask us, if we're okay or, what's going on. With everything going on in the world at the moment, both of us kind of lost our knitting mojo there for a while. You lost it longer than me.
Yeah, and we can talk about that more at the end if you want.
Oh, yeah. So we'll talk about that more at the end, but it's been since January, February. So if you're still here,
January.
Thank you, because it's been a while. But first, I am Robyn.
I'm Merry.
You can find me as TeenyButton on Instagram, and you can find my hand-dyed yarn at TeenyButtonStudio.com.
I am Merry, and I am Cherry Purls Merry on Instagram. And we normally put our show notes in our Ravelry group, but we are no longer going to do that because we want it to be accessible for everyone. So I started a blog last night for the podcast, and so we will, we will put the show notes on the blog, and we're also going to start putting them in the description box underneath the video, and you'll be able to access the show notes that way. And then on the blog, we're also going to use it as our project pages. So if you're interested in what we're working on in between podcasts or getting more information about what our projects are, you'll find it over there as well.
Yep.
And the address for that is cherrypurlspodcast@blogspot.com.
.blogspot.com.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we had a blog. That was like all the rage in the late 2000s.
Yeah. I had a couple of blogs at one point. But
I had one.
Yeah. So anyway, we just wanted something really quick and fast, and something that's easy to navigate. So that's kind of why we went with the Blogspot. I know there's a lot better platforms out there, but we wanted something real quick and simple because just to get the information in a place where people can find it.
Yeah, and there was a way I could post it on the shop, but I figure it's better to keep things separate just to avoid confusion. So, that may take out a step for y'all if you're interested in, like, if you missed us saying something, you just look in the show notes down below instead of having to click over to Ravelry. So it might work out good, well in the long run. So we do have some finished objects to share with you. Is that where we're going next?
Yeah.
Ready? Okay.
Like how we usually do.
Yeah. It's been a while. So do you want to go first since you have...
You go ahead.
Okay.
You go ahead. I'm just going to sit here and knit.
So I have a sweater.
Oh, this is amazing.
So one of the reasons why we hadn't been knitting as much, like in the beginning of quarantine back in March, is because Animal Crossing New Horizons came out, and that's a game that I've been playing since I was a child. I think you got me Wild World in like 2005, 2006.
I don't remember. I was in GameStop to pick up something y'all had pre-ordered.
Mm-hmm. Probably Pokemon game.
And I heard somebody talking about it, and they were just like gaga about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this might be something the girls would like. So.
Yeah, so I was, 11 or 12, thereabouts.
GameCube version, right?
No, DS.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, I've been a fan of Animal Crossing for a really long time. I've done Animal Crossing colorways. I've talked about Animal Crossing. And this is an Animal Crossing sweater. So this is designed by Chase Harpole, and it is called the Tomnooki sweater. And it's actually going to be released this month, very soon. I know he's doing a knit along for it as well with some awesome prizes. So I was one of the test knitters, and I knit... I don't know offhand what size I knit.
But we'll have it in the show notes.
We'll have it in the show notes, or I'll put it on the screen, one or the other. And this was my first ever time. I've done Intarsia a couple of times, but just in really tiny projects. I've never done a full Intarsia sweater. So all of the Animal Crossing like furniture leaves are done with Intarsia.
So is it all color work? It's Intarsia?
No, this bit up here is like Fair Isle stranded color work, and then the leaves and like the big chunks of color.
Oh, okay.
Are Intarsia, yeah. I think a couple of the testers did stranded color work. I think you could do stranded color work for the whole thing, but you would have to catch a lot of floats. But that is one thing I like about it, is because it's Intarsia, like there's no worry with any of the stretch whatsoever. So I did knit this in TeenyButton Studio Squish DK. And it's 100% merino base, and I used 3 colorways. This speckled colorway is called Grow Through What You Go Through, and that is an Animal Crossing colorway inspired by Leaf the Sloth, who comes to your town and sells bushes and flowers and stuff. The green is called Happy Little Trees, after Bob Ross. And then the brown is my Chicory colorway, which I've had for a very long time. So I think they work really well together. So it is knit top down. You knit the yoke first, and then the body, and then the ribbing. And then you pick up and knit the sleeves. And I did knit the sleeves concurrently, 2 at a time on the same needle. That is the way that I prefer to do it, especially because I improvised the decreases slightly. The way that my arm is shaped, I kind of have that gradual, I usually do a couple inches, and then I do like a faster rate of increases than is normally called for in the pattern. I think the increases in this pattern would have been fine, but I just didn't even reference them once I got to that point.
You just did basically what you're comfortable doing,
yeah,
on what you've done on previous sweaters.
Yeah, and then the little cuff, it's so cute. I did have an issue. So Pearl has an affinity for caked yarn. She doesn't bother it if it's in the skein or if it's just loose, but if it's in a cake, she likes to carry it around with her.
It's the perfect size for, like, it fits perfectly in her mouth.
It's like a little yarn baby.
And I think she might be trying to bring you a kill as a gift.
She didn't bring it to me. She brings it all over the house and then hides it somewhere.
That's true.
So I had my leftovers once I had finished the body. Once I had finished this color work and I was doing the bulk of the body, I had my leftover cake of the green, and while I was out somewhere, she must have hidden it really well.
You just left the room for a minute.
Yeah, and I had cut all of my bobbins, so whenever you do intarsia, you cut the separate bobbins for each length of color, and I cut all my bobbins super long, so I had a lot of, like, really long ends, so I was able to use those, but it didn't quite make it, so I had to dye a 20-gram mini to finish up the body. I think you can, yeah, that's pretty much a dead match. But then the second I finished the body and I dyed the mini skein, then
it's coming.
Then I found the cake that she had hidden. So I thought I'd ran out of yarn because I didn't know that she had hidden it, but I didn't run out of yarn. So you should have more than enough if you do use this yarn. I think Chase used Knit Picks City Tweed, possibly. He used a Knit Picks yarn for the pattern, which is great because it makes it very affordable and budget friendly. But if you do want to knit it in this colorway, I do have kits in the shop. I'm dyeing them to order, and you'll get it in time. Well, I don't know if you'll get it in time for the cowl because the cowl is very soon. But I think the cowl runs pretty long, so you should have time to finish. This didn't take me too terribly long. So I really enjoyed knitting it. I need to take pictures of it this afternoon. Once we finish this, we're going to take pictures.
Yep.
So, and it fits very well, which I'm very happy about.
Good deal.
Yep. It's very cool. So that is my first finished object. My only finished object this quarter, this half of the year. I have a pair of socks I finished, but I don't know where they are.
Oh.
Because I finished them in, like, April.
Oh, okay. They may be in your sock drawer by now.
They might be, yeah. It's been a while.
Okay. Let me finish these last 2 stitches.
Okay. Should I entertain the people?
I think they're good. Okay, so my only knitting finished object. No, take it back. I have a couple of knitting finished objects. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen me post a picture of these. So last year, I had one of Robyn's 2019 advent calendars, and what I wanted to make out of it was some little stockings to hang up. I have one for each day of Advent. So I also saw that Katrinkles was doing the cute little wooden numbers, and so I bought a set of wooden numbers.
Did you buy those at Rhinebeck, or did you buy them from her web shop?
I bought them from her website.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And no, because we went to Rhinebeck a couple of years ago.
2018. That's right.
Yeah, and I bought these after. I think I got them maybe the beginning of the year, something like that. But anyway, so I finished them up. So I've got one for days 1 through 25, and here's some of them.
You gonna show them more?
I mean, I can if you want. They're not in any order. So here, this is day 1. Day 24.
It's a remix.
23. 22, 21, and these are the order that they were in the calendar.
These are kind of in order.
20, yeah, I had them in a box that I had to keep them away from Hagrid, because Hagrid, I finished up the tops where I did stockinette, and then I did 5 rows of purling to kind of give the little top a little difference, and then I did an I-cord that I looped over to make the little loop that I'm going to hang it by. And I was drying them. I blocked them out on a little sock blocker that I made.
You cut a placemat?
Yeah, I cut up a vinyl placemat, and I used that. And Hagrid got a hold of one of them. It was actually this yellow one, and chewed the I-cord off before I could.
You fixed it.
Before I noticed what he was doing, because somebody else in the family opened the door to the closet where it was hiding, and he got in there and got to it. But anyway, I was able to fix it. But anyway, so you don't need to know that. So this is day 4.
People like to hear about Hagrid usually.
Yeah. Day 3.
There's 2.
Oh, okay. And 2 with the fixed loop.
Okay, here's 5. 5,
yeah,
6,
they got all mixed up. It doesn't matter.
Okay, these are in order actually, from the top to the bottom.
Okay. All right, thank you. Day 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17, and then 18 you've already seen.
Yeah.
Now, Robyn gave me the Advent colorways 1 through 24 as part of her gift for me helping her with the packaging and everything. And we're not sure if I ever got the full skein or not. If we did,
I didn't see it.
We can't find it. So, and then Katrinkles, her set comes with days 1 through 25. So for day 25, I improvised my own. So this is the red, or the orangey red is Crawfish Boil, which is one of Robyn's colors. And then the green right here, yeah, it is an old one. Yeah. And the green right here is A Thing for String in Tarragon. So I'm going to hang those up at Christmas time.
They're so cute. They're like little kitty socks.
Yeah. So basically, I looked at kind of like some baby sock patterns just to see how many people cast on. And then what I ended up doing was using my usual rounded toe and the Fish Lips Kiss Heel, which I use on regular socks. I just cast on fewer stitches, obviously, to begin it with, and then I just kind of knit until I'm like, okay, this is as long as I want it to be until I start the heel, and then I knit some more, and this is how long I want it to be until I, start doing the bit of purling that I do at the top.
So you cast off, and then you use the last couple stitches to make the I-cord? Okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't, pick up stitches?
No. I cast everything off, and then the last 3, I did a 3-stitch I-cord. And then I did the I-cord and then bound that off, and then looped it around and sewed it on the inside.
You used a 0?
No, that's a 1.5. It's the same needle that I use for regular socks.
You knit so tight.
I know. I knit.
Stitches are so tiny.
I know I knit tight.
That would be me on a 0 or a 00.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Tiny.
I do a tight stitch.
They look good though.
So because I stopped, lost my knitting mojo back in the fall. So this was the first thing I felt good about knitting, because I didn't have to worry about gauge. With the pandemic going on and various things going on, I was worried that my gauge may have changed due to stress or anxiety or whatever. So I know that this would have been something that was safe. I've got a sweater that I'm working on for my sister. I'm a little apprehensive about picking that up. I'm worried my gauge may have changed on that. But I think I'm about ready to give it a go. Yeah. So, but anyway, I've been knitting things lately. I've been knitting things I don't have to worry about gauge. The other thing that I've been working on
Oh, hats.
Has been a bunch of charity hats.
Oh, wow.
And
I didn't know you had that many.
You know that I like knitting for myself, but I really like knitting for others, and I have a lot of yarn that I need to knit up for other people. So I basically have been knitting while I've been watching TV or some baseball or whatever. Also, I knit a lot when I listen to audiobooks. And this is just my basic hat pattern. I just pull out a length of yarn and cast on how many stitches I can, and I knit it to a certain length, and then I do the decreases. So there really isn't a hat pattern for these, but because I'm not making them for a specific person, it really doesn't matter at this point, you know, what size it needs to be, because it'll fit anybody. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 that I made out of this one skein. I've got a little bit left of that skein, but not enough to make another full hat, so I'm going to stripe it with something else.
Did you have a full skein when you started?
I did have a full skein when I started.
And this is what, Caron?
This is Caron 1 pound, and I wasn't I couldn't find the ball band for it. I thought it was teal, and then because I wanted to start another hat, which you'll see in a minute. I'm not sure if this color is teal. The color that this other color may be teal.
It looks more blue than teal to me.
Yeah, well, this.
Oh, that's teal. That's teal.
I think this is the teal. So, yeah. I'm not sure what color this is, but I'm going to get that straight, and I'll have it straight for the show notes in case you're interested in what color this is.
Are these going to hats for kiddos?
I'm not sure. I think they're too big for hats for kiddos, but I do know that there's somebody on Instagram, because a lot of these are adult sizes. There is somebody on Instagram who is collecting hats to give out to people who will be standing in line to vote. I don't know if you've seen, there have been a couple of posts, and people have shared a couple of posts. Probably will not be cold enough down here for people to need hats in early November, but up north, definitely. So I may be sending some of these that way.
That's a good idea. I like that idea.
So that is it for finished objects for me.
Cool beans. I have one whip. You have one whip?
I've got 1 knitting whip and 2 cross stitch.
Show your hat. Show your knitting whip.
The one I was working on?
Yeah, is that your knitting whip?
Yeah, that's my knitting whip. So I threw it back in the bag, and then it took off. Mm-hmm. So this is the same yarn. This is also Caron 1 pound, and I'm just doing the same thing again. Knitting, pulled out so many stitches, and then cast on those number of stitches, and I knit to a certain length and cast off. So this is my one work in progress knitting wise.
This looks like a lot bigger than the blue ones.
I did go up a size on those. On this one, I went up a needle size. I was knitting them on 8s, and I was, because I knit a little tight, I was really having to shove those stitches on the needle, and so I said, you know what, I'm going to go up to a 9. So I went up to a 9. Those other ones were knit on 8s.
You are kidding. That is so tight. I'm just thinking about my gauge. This would be my gauge on like a 5 or a 6. It's interesting. It's crazy how things.
Well, now you know why I'm worried about if I'm feeling anxious. Why I'm worried about my gauge changing, because I already knit tight. Yeah. And if I'm stressed about something, I'm don't want to be yanking that yarn, like choking it to death, you know?
Maybe you should wait till like December to start knitting.
Maybe of 2022?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, well, I am what I am.
Yeah. All right, so I have another sweater whip. I have very few.
This one is great.
I have very few projects because they're all big projects, which, mixing it up a little bit. Oh, this is in my Fat Squirrel bag we got last year. And I love this bag, but it's very furry. There's a lot of cat hair on this bag, but it's so cute. I just love it. I have another Fat Squirrel bag I bought this week to show y'all. So this, let me hold. Oh, sure. Thank you. This is the Hintermost cardigan. Things are just plopping everywhere. Ugh. Okay, I thought I yanked the needle out for a second. This is the Hintermost cardigan by Bristol Ivy. It's like a snake.
Oh, this is the button band.
Yeah, that's the,
okay.
that's the
I was like,
band.
what is that flying through
Okay,
the
this
air?
is the back.
Okay.
There it is. I found it. Okay. So this is knit bottom up in the round, and then you steek it. And if you follow me on Instagram, I posted the steek in my stories, and it wasn't as bad as I thought, but
She was worried.
it still makes me a little nervous, because, like, all that's keeping it in there is, like, sheer willpower. Like, there's nothing holding it in there, in my mind. I mean, I know it's in there securely, but, like, it's, you know, I don't know.
Well, it's always nervous. I mean, it's not scary to cut the end of your yarn because when you're done, but to cut through your project, I have no concept.
I was
of
very
that.
worried.
But you've done afterthought heels.
Yes, but that seems different to me because you're just cutting one little stitch, whereas here you cut every single row. Yeah, it's for those of you who don't know what steeking is. You knit color work in the round, so it's easier, and then you secure the sides of your knitting, and then you cut up the middle to make it a cardigan.
So to secure the side, you're basically doing a crochet stitch?
I did crochet. Some people do sewn either by machine or by hand.
Okay, so you do something up the center on either side.
Yeah. So
and then you cut in between the two?
Yes, so it originally looked like this. It's all folded in, but the ends were together.
And that gray wasn't there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the gray is my crochet steek. You're supposed to do, you're really supposed to do this with non-superwash yarn, but this is superwash, so I was living on the edge. But this is actually my Tweedy DK base. So this colorway used to be a Harry Potter colorway. It is no longer because I'm renaming my Harry Potter colorways. So now it is called Mulled Wine. And then this one is a shortcut to mushrooms, this kind of mushroomy brown. So I think last time I showed y'all, I had just started the color work on the body. So I finished the color work. I knit all the way up here. I was a little apprehensive about the saddle shoulders. They kind of, like, there's like a square. You see how it's like boxed off?
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting. I've never done one like that. But it makes me a little nervous because there's a lot of space here.
Have you tried it on?
I tried it on. And it looks a little funky, but I think that's because the button band's not on.
Okay.
So I'm just going to hope that it works out. It's how a lot of my knitting works. So
nothing wrong with that.
You do knit the sleeves first, so that was nice to get the sleeves out of the way. And then you pick up the stitches for the...
What's this?
That just an
random green.
You pick up the stitches for the pockets, so there are pockets. There's a whole pocket. This is the first time I've done pockets in my knitting. And then this is the button band. So this is a very large sweater. It's like a tunic length, like a covers your butt sweater. I'm not sure if that's the right term.
Tunic length.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So you knit the button band here, and then you stitch it on, I think. I'm almost done with this one. And then you pick up the other side. I'm not doing, so the pattern calls for buttons and buttonholes. I'm not doing that because I never button my cardigans, so there's really no point. It's just extra work for no reason, and then I have to find buttons, and then you have to sew the buttons on. I have like 2 or 3 projects where I've bought the buttons, and the buttons are in the project bag, but I just haven't sewn them on. So I kind of, knowing myself, I know I would never get around to sewing on the buttons.
Well, I'm like you. I don't ever button my sweaters.
Yeah.
Well, I don't say never, but I rarely. Let's go with that.
Yeah. So that... I think that's all the details. I think that's all I wanted to say about this. It's a great pattern. Bristol Ivy commented on my feed, and she's like, you can do it, whenever I was worried about the steeking, so that was nice. Still have some ends to leave in. I know. This is stranded color work. I'm doing all the color work. Now look at those floats. That's pretty good.
I know. It looks nice.
Yeah, so that's the inside. Wow, I did that. Ha! I used to be afraid of color work, but pretty happy with that. It looks really good in the tweed too, I think.
Yeah, it does look really nice.
So I'm really excited to wear this. This is going to be like my Thanksgiving/Christmas sweater. I have another one planned, and I have a test knit I'm about to start. I have 2 sweaters. I want 1 Halloween sweater, 1 fall sweater, and then a test knit. But I think I'm only going to be able to get one of those done.
Well,
in addition to this one.
I think that has to be the test knit.
It has to be the test knit, yeah. I've been playing with the idea of hiring a sample knitter, but I'm not really sure what the rates are for that and how to go about finding somebody, because I would want a sweater knit in my size, so it would be like a, 50, well, it depends on the ease, but 48 to 52 inches bust size, so whatever, that's a lot of extra knitting, whereas compared to knitting like a smaller or medium. So, if anybody, just real quick, if anybody has any feedback on like sample knitting, if you have sample knit and what your compensation was like, I'm just curious. I'll probably do maybe a question in my Instagram stories, or I've had people offer before and they're like, oh, you can pay me in yarn, but I think I'd rather pay in, money, because that's easier for business purposes and people deserve to get paid for their work. So just any feedback would be nice if you have any. So you have some embroidery to show?
You have cross stitch.
Cross stitch. I cross stitch. I should know. I don't embroider.
Okay, so I've got 2 projects that I've started working on at the beginning of the year. So when I kind of lost my knitting mojo, one of the things that was pulling me away was I was getting more interested again in cross stitch. Before I got married, and when I was first married, I did an awful lot of cross stitch, and I kind of stopped it whenever the kids were born, just because I didn't have as much time to do it, and you've got this needle and all that kind of stuff like that. But I decided I wanted to get back into it. I was seeing some really cool modern projects, and I was really interested in them. So I started doing 2 stitch-alongs. So the first one that I'm doing is, this is a year in color work, and I don't know if you can see it. Okay, so a year in black work. I'm sorry, not color work. This is a stitch-along by Peppermint Purple. It's a free one. She does it. It's on a Facebook group, obviously on Facebook. And she gives you, this is, there'll be one of these squares for each of the 52 weeks out of the year. So you can see I am behind. We'll talk more about later what captured my attention and distracted me from that a little bit later.
Does this long one count as a block?
Yes, this long one right here counts as a block. And then there'll be another section, and there'll be another long block, and then there'll be a third section. Yeah. So there'll be 3 sections of this separated by a block. So there'll be one, and then, so it should go all the way to the bottom when you get all 52 weeks done. And
how do you pick the colors?
I chose my own colors. She has, hers are done in different shades of red, but I wanted it to be more all rainbow colors. So, and then I'm going through and repeating the color family. So I start off with these blues and I go into green, and you can see I start back up with the blues again and go into the green. So it'll repeat itself. I think it's 3 times, and there may be a couple that may repeat itself the 4th time before I finish up the 52 weeks. But this is the first one I've been working on. And black work is just basically outlines. I don't know how well you can see that.
So you're picking up the texture.
Yeah, it's just a design. It kind of almost looks like, what is it?
Almost like ironwork.
Oh, I can't think of the word I'm thinking. Pentangle? No, not pentangle. Shoot, I can't think.
Filigree?
No. It's the thing where you draw, you just like, you draw with a pencil and you just make lines and you fill it in.
Zentangle?
Zentangle. That's the word I was trying to think of. It almost kind of looks like Zentangle in a way.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's one of the ones that I'm working on. And so this is a year long. So every week she puts out a new square, and then you just download it from there. And then the second one that I'm working on, which is way behind.
It's okay.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's no police. This is one that I'm doing. It's called, where is it? Temperature. This is the Granny Square Temperature Stitch Along by Carolyn Manning. And she sells, she has her own website, but she's also got a Facebook group where you can participate in Stitch Along. So basically what this is this is going to look like a bunch of granny squares, but of course the way that the colors are based on what the temperature is. So I've been tracking the temperature all year long, so there's going to be 366 of these little squares that will be filled in. And then at the bottom, there'll be room to put the year. So,
that's so cool.
So as you can tell, what's interesting is I didn't realize we have a lot of days where it was 91. So every day I go and I write down what the temperature is, or not necessarily every day. Sometimes I do it once a week, but I have been keeping track all year long so far.
Oh, we live outside New Orleans. I don't know if we said that, but usually we say it.
Yeah.
If people are like, where do y'all live?
Yeah.
So it's usually hot.
So, but anyway, so you can see that there's some repeats in what the high temperature was, and that is what I'm tracking is the high temperature for the day. And I think it's going to be kind of neat to see as the different colors change. I think I stopped doing this beginning of March. So that's why I've got a lot that hasn't been done, but I have been keeping track of the temperature, and so I can go in and fill it in, and then this is also one that I adapted her original pattern because being in Southeast Louisiana, her scale would go all the way to, I think she's got some below zero temperatures because she is, I think, in either Minnesota or Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
So she's got a big variance in temperatures compared to us. So I adapted the scale a little bit so that my ranges were more narrow so that I could still use all of the patterns that she had created with the different colors and stuff like that. But that at least, because there was some of the patterns I would never use because we don't get that cold.
Yeah.
So, and then on the other end, I don't think she may not get as hot as we get. So, but anyway, that's the two things that I was working on earlier before I got distracted.
By the knitting again?
Well, no, by the
Animal Crossing?
Yeah, by the what happened at the end of March.
You want to show your cross stitch bag? That's really cool.
Oh, okay. I don't remember oh, it's on here. This bag I bought. This was made by a lady who is on. She sells off of Instagram, and I'm trying to see. I know she's got her name on here somewhere.
It'll be in the show notes.
Yeah, I'll put it in the show notes. Okay, cat hair everywhere. But I really like this bag a lot. It's double-sided, so one side has got a zipper, and then the other side has got a flap, so you can use both sides of it.
It's really neat.
Yeah, so it's kind of neat. So it's just one big project bag with you can put all your stuff in it. But cross stitch has changed a lot since I did it. Now they have like this snap frames and all that kind of stuff like that. I was just used to using the hoop, but I really like using the frames a lot.
Yeah.
So that's basically all my stuff.
Okay. I have a little bit of Throw Me Something Mister stash enhancement that I've ordered. I've ordered more than this in the past, 8 months, but this is what I felt like showing that I could find. So this is actually from April.
Look how pretty that is.
I love this. This is, so we usually either attend or vend at DFW Fiberfest, but obviously this year it was canceled. That's in April. So they did a virtual sort of thing where they featured different people, and one of the people that I always buy from is Stacy and Mustache Yarn.
Always.
And usually we get her little mill ends, like her, is that what she calls them? Little bitty ones?
Oh, what does she call them? Oh, it's over there. I've got some that are over there. I can't remember what she calls them, but it's like it's not a full skein, but she still goes ahead and dyes it, so it's a partial skein. But for me, I don't use 100 grams to make a pair of socks, so it's enough for a pair of socks for sure.
Usually buy those. She didn't have those, or if she did, I didn't look at them. But I did want her special colorway for this year. So since this would have been DFW's 15th anniversary, DFW Fiberfest, not, the Dallas-Fort Worth area has been around longer than 15 years.
16.
Yeah. This is called Quinceañera, and I got it on her sparkle base, so it is Ritz.
Those are going to be so much fun to wear.
I know. Ritz self-striping sparkle sock, and it's her must-match skein, so there's two identical skeins twisted together. So it's just a 75-20, and then 5% stellino. I think it's super pretty.
Oh, that is great.
So I did purchase that, and then moving from April to October, or September, I bought this last week. It came in a couple of days ago. I couldn't resist. So it is from the Fat Squirrel, Amy Beth. If you can read that. And y'all know I'm a huge fan of Halloween, and I'm a huge fan of cats. And the little cats in their little costumes.
Looks like Helga.
I couldn't resist. It does look like Helga. So I think my favorite cat is the candy corn. But I also just noticed the witch cat has like this really long like fancy hair.
I like the mummy cat.
The mummy cat. Yeah, he's cute. And the skeleton cat, they're so cute. And it's fun to look at. Larry told me his favorite was the ghost cat.
I like the ghost cat too.
They're so cute. The little pumpkin.
Ooh.
Very spooky. So this is her sock size, or her small size. But I do like that she lines it with this nice, I don't think it's muslin. I think it's a canvas, like a.
Oh yeah, that's a canvas.
Linen, yeah. But she uses like that heavy duty
interfacing.
I don't know if they're interfaced, but the fabric is thick. It's like almost like an upholstery fabric. And then she includes a handle with all of them, which is nice. I usually stick it on my zipper pull because that's just easier. So I'm gonna cast on a pair of spooky socks. Actually, in this yarn, this is my next cast on. This is Witching Hour. Something Witch. I think it's Witching Hour by Nomadic Yarns. So I figured
that's pretty.
They go together.
It'll work.
Yeah. So we'll link to the shops down below as usual. Well, not as usual, but as going forward. That's our new.
We linked to the shops before.
Yeah, but just not below.
Correct.
So if you
in
want
the
to
show
link,
notes.
yeah, I think Amy Beth is sold out, but just go look. They got good stuff.
Yeah, she's got plenty of good stuff.
Yeah. You don't have any throw me something, Mister?
No, I haven't bought like yarn in a very long time.
But you are about to do a de-stash.
I am.
So if you, the viewer, would like to buy some yarn, some nice yarn, she has some stuff in there that I almost took. She's a lot of stuff in there that I almost took. But I'm like, better not.
I mean, I've got so much yarn, I'm never going to be able to knit. It's truly the definition of sable. So it's just sitting in a box, and there's no reason for it to be sitting in a box. So I'm going to put it out into the world. Yeah. I'm not sure when I'm going to do it, but I will announce it on Instagram, and I will probably set up a separate Instagram account for the de-stashed because it is quite a bit.
A lot.
So
it's a lot of good stuff.
I will probably post in on my feed as well as do a story whenever I'm gonna get ready to do it. So
yeah. And it's all gonna be through PayPal invoicing or
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the project after this is to photograph my sweater and to photograph all of that yarn.
Yeah, it's sitting over there in a cube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So keep your eyes peeled for that if you are in the market for a new yarn. Or also if you're in the market for your new yarn, I am going to move along into TeenyButton Studio news. Does that sound good?
That sounds good.
Okay. First things first, the Hexed Halloween calendars are going out. Larry took 35 of them to the post office today. So I went, they're all going to go out this week, but I took the international ones first, and then I started from the oldest orders to the newest orders. So if you ordered on the 1st of July, your order has gone out, I'm pretty sure. And then I'm going to do the second batch today and then the third batch tomorrow. So they should all be out by Friday. So keep your eyes peeled for those shipping notifications. The Christmas Advents are coming along well. I don't know if I'll be able to offer the Hanukkah ones and the 12 Days of Christmas ones, just because for those of you who don't know, there is an indie yarn shortage at the moment. The mill in Peru. So first of all, most indie dyers that you're familiar with use like 2 or 3 different suppliers in the whole like of the US or like North America. So if one of them had to close because of COVID, the one in Peru, they closed for less than a month, I think, but it
jammed
everything up. And every single indie dyer that is doing an advent calendar is now trying to get those mini skeins.
Everybody's trying to get the same yarn.
Yes, thankfully, I was buying mini skeins as I was selling the advents, so I'm totally fine on that. But I just won't be able to get more for the foreseeable future. They do updates, and then people get carjacked, and it's really difficult to get yarn right now as an indie dyer. So, on that note, I did get a delivery today of about 3,000 skeins. So I was able to get yarn last week, and I just ordered what I'm going to need for the rest of the year. So if there's a base that you've been waiting to come back, so soft sock, DK, I think those are the 2 big ones, soft sock and DK. I've had twist sock, and I've had tough sock. So I'm probably going to do pre-orders for some things that people have been asking for. I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to post on my Instagram once I figure that out. So I'm very happy to have those bases back, but unfortunately I don't think I'm able to do any more of the calendars this year. But we'll see. If something changes, I'll post on Instagram.
I mean, it could be that they get caught up
Mm-hmm.
and the timing is good that you can still offer them. It just depends on when that happens.
Yeah. And I probably wouldn't get anything out later than early November because you want things to come in a timely manner, especially for holiday stuff. So,
but if you follow other indie dyers, a lot of people have mentioned the problems they're having getting yarn. Yeah. So this is something that's been going on because of the pandemic. So.
Yeah, and because one of the really big ones has had trouble getting orders, has got trouble getting shipments in of yarn, then people go to the other ones, and then those start selling out because they're getting more business than usual, and then down to the smaller people, and it's like a trickle effect. So, that's what's going on. I don't know I've seen people talk about it, but it's not really, if you didn't know, that's what's going on. So, I do have a lot of yarn on hand that I have dyed for the update on Friday. Today is Wednesday the 16th. This update is going to be Friday the 18th. So if it interests you, if you'd like to see what's new, what I have dyed, what's coming, then stick around. So, my updates are usually at 5 o'clock. Central Time on Friday. Yes, Central Time. And I'm going to I have a couple things that since it's been so long, I figured I'd show a little bit of what was in last update that I still have, and then a little bit of what's going to be in Friday's update. So I have some tonals. I'm working on my fall palette. Sure, you can show those if you like. Sorry. So these two, this one's actually a super popular one I'm really happy with. This is Pumpkin Cider. And it's like this really gorgeous, like russet orange. It's actually got some olive undertones. I don't know if the camera's going to pick up on that, but yeah, it's got some olive, like almost gold undertones. So this one's on Tough Sock. I do have it on I have it on Squish Fingering, Tweed, and I think I have one left on Orange Stellina. And then Tough Sock, of course. So if that interests you, that is currently in the shop.
And then this one is Creole Tomato.
Yeah, I love that one. That one's on Squish Fingering.
I can see when you get closer, it looks like it changes a little bit.
It blows out. Or, yeah, it focuses.
Yeah. So, I mean, the label blows out a little bit, but it seems like the color's truer the further back you get. But it's really, really beautiful color.
I think it's pretty close. It's a little bit more orange on the screen.
Yeah.
It's like a tomato red, like an orangey tomato red.
Okay.
And then also, this is a new one. This is called Pontchartrain, which is named after the lake near where we live. The Pontchartrain Bridge the Pontchartrain Causeway is the longest bridge over water in the world.
Continuous
bridge over water in the world. And Dad drives back and forth every day to go work, and I used to drive back and forth every day to go to school. So the actual lake is kind of known for being a little gross. Which is putting it mildly, but we're going to use our imaginations and pretend like it's really this emeraldy kind of blue.
That's the color you want it to be.
That's the color we want it to be, but it's not. So that is what's currently in the shop. Yes, okay. So this Friday is going to be a Halloween Autumn Hocus Pocus colorway collection. Yeah. So I have some Hocus Pocus colorways. I have a couple of New Orleans kind of spooky colorways. And then I have some tonals. So this one y'all have seen before. This is Ferncliff Forest. I might just shorten it to Ferncliff. What do you think?
Ferncliff sounds good.
It's just a little snappier. But this is inspired by our trip to Rhinebeck, which was in 2018. And there's a national park up there called Ferncliff Forest. And the year that we went up there, the leaves were still green, and everybody's like, oh, I'm sorry, the leaves are still green. I wish y'all could see.
Well, they were turning, but they hadn't turned as much as they had in the past.
We were just impressed that they weren't,
I mean, we have a lot of pine trees down here, so any change of color, we were oohing and ahhing.
Yeah, we were.
So people were apologizing. We're like, why? This is amazing.
This is great, yeah. So this color reminds me of that, so I really like it. I was watching the vlog the other day. I'm like, oh, I wish I could go to Rhinebeck this year.
Yeah, a lot of people saying that.
Yeah. And then this is a new tonal, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to call this one Cursed. It's supposed to go with the Hocus Pocus collection, but it also works for Haunted Mansion. So if I rename it, I will post it on my Instagram, but that's the working name There you go. It's so dark. It's a very, very dark purple.
It's like really, really eggplant.
Really dark, yeah. So
it's beautiful.
I love it. I have it on Squish DK. No, Squish Fingering. Every time I say Squish, I want to say DK because that's been my base forever, but this is Squish Fingering. So it's not DK.
And Squish Fingering is 100% superwash.
Yeah, 100% superwash merino. As is Twist Sock, but Squish Fingering is a 3-ply and it's a looser ply, whereas Twist Fingering is a 2-ply and it's a tighter ply. So this is better for softer things you want to be soft, so like shawls, whereas Twist would be better for like sweaters or like mitts that you don't want to pill. So, little yarn 101 right there. I have a lot of new colorways. A lot of them are still wet. So I'm just going to show you what is dry. So I have a collection of Sanderson sister colorways. So it's one colorway for each sister. And you can get it in a 3-pack. I've never offered these before, so I'm curious to see how well they'll do. But it's the Sanderson sisters, and you get a 50-gram skein of soft sock because they do have 50-gram skeins, and I was able to snag some. So this one is Winifred, that orange, purple, and green.
This one?
Yes.
Okay.
This one is Sarah Sanderson with
This
the pink, and that one is Mary Sanderson. And then I'm just chucking them over there when I'm done. I also have them on full skeins of Squish Fingering. So that's Winifred Sanderson. This one is Sarah Sanderson. And then Mary. So, I'm really happy with those. Then I have these 3. So this one is actually from last year. And this is on Twist Fingering. And this is called Another Glorious Morning from that line that she says in the beginning. When was the last time you saw Hocus? You haven't seen Hocus Pocus all the way through, have you? Oh.
I know.
I love that movie. That's one of my favorite lines. So, it's got some mauve. There's some, look at the speckles right there. Green. It's a little bit similar to Winifred, but it's a little bit darker. And then these 2 are brand new. This one is called I Smell Children. So, it's...
What does that smell like?
That's what she says. So Sarah sings to lure the kids. So the whole plot of the movie is that they like steal the essence of children to keep them young. So Sarah sings and lures the children in, and then Mary can smell the children so she can sniff them out.
I get it.
So I Smell Children. I want it to look like candy almost. So it's very neon, very, very speckly. It's got some reds, some pinks, and some green. And the part of the goal was to have all these colorways look good together. If you wanted to like purchase the whole collection, use them for a fade or use them for a sweater or something. So that's I Smell Children. And then this one is inspired by Thackeray Binks. And the working title is Give Him Fur Black as Black. I don't know if that'll fit on my card, my sticker.
On your label?
Yeah. So I might rename it, but it's inspired by Binks. I might just call it Binks and we'll see. But I really am excited to see this knit up because this is a colorway that the way it's dyed is going to like microstripe if you knit socks with it. So this one's on Tough Sock. It's going to like do a stripe of blue, a stripe of black, a stripe of yellow, a stripe of black, a stripe of yellow. So very spooky. I'm very excited to see this knit up.
Cool.
So that's the current Hocus Pocus collection. I have one more colorway that is in the drying room at the moment. And then this is the first of the New Orleans collection, the Haunted New Orleans collection. So I'm going to call this one French Quarter Phantom. It's still wet, which is why I'm going to skein it up very briefly and then have to unskein it so it can dry. But just like the Binks colorway, this is another one that's going to micro stripe. So you're going to get like a stripe of this great like royal navy blue and then a stripe of the speckles, which is not showing up. The speckles are blowing out a little bit, but it's yellow, green, blue, and pink speckles.
Cool.
And this one is French Quarter Phantom, if I didn't say that.
You did.
So I have one more New Orleans colorway and one more Hocus Pocus colorway, and then a couple more tonals that are still drying.
Still drying, but we're ready for Friday.
They'll be ready for Friday.
You'll do your usual where you'll post in your stories. You'll have pictures of them. Or...
Yeah, and I'll do swipe up links. I know people like those, so you can just directly swipe up. Also on Instagram, now you can tap the photo. If I have tagged a product, you can just tap it and check out directly on Instagram. You don't even have to go to the website if you don't want to.
Cool.
So that's another layer of convenience for people. So I do have some clubs running if that is something that interests you. I have the Hocus Pocus Club for October. I have the Pumpkin Patch Yarn Club. I have the Howl's Moving Castle Yarn Club, and the Haunted New Orleans Yarn Club for October. So I'm suspending the Harry Potter Yarn Club for the foreseeable future because of reasons that I'm sure you might know of, because J.K. Rowling has, been the way that she is. So,
been a jerk.
No more Harry Potter yarn for now. I'm very sad, but I'm sure I'm not as sad as the people who she's, being a jerk about. So, that is the reason why there is no more Harry Potter Club, but there are lots of fandoms made by people who are nice people, and we will celebrate those and get inspired by those instead.
Sounds good.
Yes. So do you want to talk about some LAGNIAPPE? Is there any other bits?
Just, we alluded to it a little bit before. We have, we took a bit of a break. Part of it was because we weren't kind of lost our knitting mojo. And then end of March, Animal Crossing came out. And the girls talked me into doing this, and I'm like, they've been playing video games forever, and I'm like, it's not my thing, and they're like, just try it.
Well, you played the phone game.
Yeah, I've played Pocket Camp for a couple of years, and I enjoyed that, and so I kind of knew the characters, and it kind of pulled me in, and I fell hard for that game. I just absolutely love it. I play it pretty much every day, and, I definitely play it every day.
For those of you who don't know, it's a life sim game, kind of. So you play as a little human character in a village full of animals. And in this iteration, you live on an island. And it's a lot of fun. It's really cute. It's kind of like you go fishing, or you catch bugs, or you dig up fossils, or you talk to your animal friends, or you decorate your house. It's not like a traditional game in that there's an objective. But
the objective is just everybody's nice, and you give your villagers gifts, and
calming.
They give you gifts, and you put down a plot of land, and they're going to build their house there, and you invite people to come stay at your campground, and it's just really, really cute. And so I think it was the beginning of August, they brought back something that had been in a previous game called Dream Address, or they had Dream Suite was in the old game. Yeah. But I have a dream address if you want to come and visit my island, if you play Animal Crossing. So I will
put it on the screen.
Robyn can put it on the screen, but what the address is, and then I'll also have it in the show notes if you just want to come and see what I'm doing. I'm not one of these people that has these fantastic islands. I do love going to fantastic islands. Yeah. And Robyn and I, when we first started, there were a lot of people who were doing YouTube videos and doing island tours and all that. So mine is just, basic, but I enjoy it. And I have some of my favorite villagers are there. I've got 3 that I'll never let leave. I don't care how many times they ask me if they can move, they will never leave.
You live here for life.
Yes, but 7 of them can come and go. As soon as I get your photo, you're welcome to leave. So anyway, that's been an awful lot of fun. I want to thank you and Kara for talking me into that.
We know good things occasionally.
It has been a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
So
it is on the Switch, so if you'd like to play it, you do need a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, console. The new version anyway.
Yeah.
It's New Horizons?
New Horizons, yeah.
So I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think so. We hope everybody's staying safe and healthy. Things are, the way that they are right now. But a lot of people seem to have missed us, and so if we can, distract you from what's going on, or, I don't know, entertain you, not that we're that entertaining, but it's, something to watch. We're just happy to be podcasting again. We're happy to be knitting again. And we will see you guys next time.
All right. Bye.